Hello my friends, it's Laura. Welcome to my July book haul. I really wasn't planning on having a book haul so soon after my first one, and I don't have an excuse. Like, I don't know how to explain how I acquired 14 new books in 1 month, which I mean is usual for me, but I did mention that I wanted to slow down on the book buying, so I don't know what happened. But here we are with July's book haul. So let's just get into it. First I'm going to start off with books that you've already seen in other videos because I have either mentioned them in like my TBR video, or I've already read a couple of these and I've talked about them in recent reads. So let's start with Alpha, Volume 1 by Olivia Blake, illustrated by Little Chmura. This is Olivia Blake's graphic novel series. There's 2 volumes that I know of, and I talked about this in my Aurelium Autumn Equinox TBR. I have already read this as of filming this video and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It's so short and I don't really know how to describe it without giving too much away, but it's kind of like this sci-fi fantasy blend, and honestly it's just better off going into it not knowing what's going on and just reading it because it's so short. I don't want to give anything away, but I picked up a copy of that. Also, if you saw my latest recent reads video, I talked about The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells and how much I hated it. I have read this. I picked it up so that I could read a retelling of The Island of Dr. Moreau that I also have in this stack, so we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I picked up this copy because I thought the cover looked cool, but obviously I'm going to be unhauling this because why keep this? I hated it so much. So there's that one. And then also I recently read Illusionary by Zoraida Cordova. I talked about this in my recent reads wrap up. This is the second book to Incendiary, which is a book following Ren, who has this particular magic, and it's about rebellion and love and betrayal, and it's so good and I love it so much. As soon as I was done the first book, I immediately went out and grabbed myself a copy of the second. So the most stunning, eye-catching cover, also a book that I've already read and talked about, is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I mean, just look at that cover. It's so gorgeous. It's so creepy and weird and gorgeous. It is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. And I loved this. The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I am so excited to read this, and it's mostly because of my hate for The Island of Dr. Moreau that I cannot wait to see what she does with this story. I absolutely adore Silvia's writing, and I know that she's gonna turn this into something absolutely amazing. I don't know the tone of this, like I don't know if it's supposed to be more horror or not, but either way, I cannot wait to dive into this. The cover of this is another absolutely stunning one. I mean, just look at that cover. It's gorgeous. I'm very excited to read it. Hopefully I will get to it this fall. I think I'm gonna put it on my fall TBR. Then we have a book that I really don't know why I bought this, you guys. Was I depressed in July? I don't know, because I just bought a lot of books. I picked up a copy of My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. If you've been here for a while, you know that I have like this love-hate relationship with Tessa Bailey. I read one of her books, gave it 5 stars. To this day, one of my favorite romances ever. And then I read another one of her books this year, and I gave it 1 star. And it's one of my least favorite books of the year, if not my least favorite book of the year. So this could go either way. This could be a 1 star, this could be a 5 star. We shall see. It's about this woman who goes on this summer vacation with her brother, but then she discovers a corpse in her rental house. And then in comes this rude, crude bounty hunter on the back of his motorcycle to catch the killer. I don't know, I'm kind of iffy about it, but honestly I picked it up because I heard Erin from Booked and Busy talking about it. She read it in a vlog, I think, and she actually really liked it. And so I was like, okay, maybe I could really like it too. I don't know. I'm kind of scared, but I would really like to give this a read before summer is over, so hopefully sometime this month if I could squeeze it in with all the other books I have to read. And then I did an unhaul for the second quarter of the year. I filmed it, but I never uploaded it because I honestly hated the way the video turned out. But mostly I just got rid of books that I read throughout the past 3 months and didn't enjoy. So I took them in to my local used bookstore and I picked up some books while I was there. So first we have What We Harvest by Anne Frestat. This is also on my Autumn Equinox TBR. This is a YA horror, and I don't remember too much about what's going on. I know that there's like this virus or this blight that's consuming the farms around town, and I don't really know or remember, and I don't want to read the synopsis because I am going to be reading this very soon. We shall see how this goes. I will definitely let you know when I do read it, but this is another cover that I think is absolutely stunning. And then I picked up House of Binding Thorns by Aliette de Bodin. Now this, this is the second book in a series, and I picked it up before I even read the first book, which is not something I usually do, but because I saw it at the used bookstore in the hardcover, which is kind of hard to find, I was like, just in case I read the first book and I absolutely love it, I'll have the second book ready to go. Unfortunately, that turned out not to work that well for me this time around, because I read the first book and I gave it 3 stars. Like, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, and then I tried to read this one and I DNF'd it. Yeah, so I will be talking about it soon in like a recent reads, but I love the concept of this. Like, it's fallen angels that have come to Earth and they're wreaking havoc and starting wars and leave just devastation in their wake, and there's all kinds of ancient myths and magics that are in here. Like, conceptually it's so intriguing and interesting, but I just don't think the execution works that well for me. So I'm hauling it here, but I'm probably going to be unhauling it pretty soon as well. Every time I go to the used bookstore, there are 2 things that I search for first. One is anything by Robin Hobb, which they never have, and then also anything in the Wheel of Time series. So I did find The Gathering Storm by Robert Jordan, which is the 12th book in the Wheel of Time, which I really need to get a move on and start reading, because I have not continued on in that series since I read the first book and really enjoyed it. And The Great Hunt is constantly staring at me on my shelf and judging me, so I really need to pick up the second book and continue on with this series, because I really did enjoy that first book. But I've just been collecting the series. Anytime I see a book in good condition, I pick it up, and that's what I did with this one. This is number 12, so it'll be quite a while before I get to this one. But I have it now, so yay. And then the last book I picked up from that used bookstore is The Library of the Unwritten by A.G. Hackwith. This is a book that I have been interested in for so long. Like, the premise of this just sounds so good. There is a space in hell where all the stories unfinished by their authors reside. So it's a library of like unwritten books in hell, which the concept of that is just so cool. And then I think what happens is that a book ends up escaping, and it says it falls to the librarians to find a book with the ability to reshape the boundaries between heaven, hell, and Earth. So I've just heard amazing things about this. The concept sounds so interesting, and I really want to pick this up. I've been wanting to pick it up for so long, and I was so happy to find a copy of it at the used bookstore. Like, it's in perfect condition. If you can see, like, it doesn't look like it's been read at all. So I cannot wait to read this. So happy to find this, and I cannot wait to read it. I'm sorry if the light keeps changing, but I live in Florida and it's about to monsoon outside, literally. So like, the sun is going in and out. I apologize. The next book I have here is Wild Wisdom Companion by Maya Toll. I picked up another book by her, which was like, I think it was like her herbal guide or something like that, but I really love her books, first of all, because they are so freaking stunning. I mean, look at that. And the illustrations inside, absolutely stunning as well. This was the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. So it came with a really beautiful Wheel of the Year, as well as some really pretty oracle cards, which I have over there on my desk. But this just goes through all the seasons, and it gives you like the herbs associated with that season, the element, the crystals, the animals, things like that, and it gives you like a ritual to do for each season. And it was just so beautiful that I had to pick it up. So I got that one. One of my most anticipated reads of the year that I didn't mention in my anticipated releases video, because I didn't know about this at the beginning of the year, but this is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I love Ashley Poston, even though the last 2, I think, books that I read by her didn't work so well for me. I still really love her as an author. I really love her writing. And this is her first adult book. This is a adult romance. And it says, Florence Day is the ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a problem. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. And she ends up having to go back home to bury her father after her father passes away, and she ends up meeting a ghost. And I think, honestly, that this is a love story between her and the ghost. So don't know how that's gonna end up, but I am excited to read it because Ashley Poston's writing is just so fun and quirky, and I think that this is gonna be a good time. This is definitely one I wanted to pick up this summer. Once again, summer is almost over, so I don't know if I'll get to it before then. Picked up an ARC from work, and that is The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. Now, I have never read anything by Ryan LaSala before, but I have heard good things. This very beautiful, flowery book is actually a horror novel, and it follows Mars, whose twin Caroline dies under horrific circumstances, and after her death he goes on this mission to figure out kind of who she was, what she was hiding, and what or who caused her death, I believe. So it sounded interesting. I thought, why not? I don't know when this is coming out. This says May 3rd, but I actually think it comes out this month, so I don't know if it got pushed back or what happened, but I'm very excited to give this a read. I think I'm gonna pop this on my fall TBR, we shall see. And then finally, the last book I have here is another one of my most anticipated releases for the year, and that is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. Sarah Gailey is another one of my absolute favorite authors. I have enjoyed everything I've read by them, so I'm very excited to give this one a read. This is a horror about Vera, who is coming home to take care of her mother, who is aging, who's dying. So she's coming to take care of her, to say goodbye, and she's going back to the house where her father, who was a serial killer, killed a lot of people. So she has to deal with that, but when she gets to the house, weird things start happening. So very excited to give this a read. I really enjoy Sarah Gailey's writing, and I think that this is going to be a really good one. I am so excited. Probably going to pick this up this fall as well. And this is another cover that is just so incredibly stunning. Like, it's so simplistic, but just so beautiful. So those are all the books that I bought in the month of July. I'm very excited for all of these, and I'm happy to have added them to my collection, but I honestly, I really do need to slow down on the book buying, at least for the next few months. You know, we'll see if it actually happens, but that's my hope. Anyway, talk to me down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you think of them. Let me know if there's any that you think I need to get to ASAP. I love hearing from you in the comments, but also if you don't have anything to say but still want to let me know that you were here, you can leave. Why don't you leave me, is there like a ghost emoji for the Dead Romantics? Yeah, leave me a ghost emoji in the comments. That's gonna be it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you have not done so already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!